Getting older, it happens to everybody, except me, because I may or may not be a vampire.
Aw, for sake.
Shh, we need that Twilight demographic. Anyways, today is all about the beautiful process of aging and lying about how beautiful aging is and stuffing our faces to make everything okay. First up, a geezer favorite, truffled deviled eggs. For the main, we're making meatloaf with awesome sauce! And for dessert, mini olive oil pound cakes with chocolate-covered orange bits. Oh, we got bits, all right. Panos reports on farm fresh eggs.
Time to get cracked, bro.
The spice agent professes his love for brown sugar.
I thought I wasn't allowed to profess my love for brown sugar.
Hans tells us about the anti-aging properties of olive oil.
Yeah.
You're watching Nadia G's Bitchin' Kitchen. Geezer Grub! Everybody knows that age is just a number that tells you how old you are. Your 20s are spent finding yourself at Planned Parenthood again. Your 30s are all about discovering who you really are, someone who tweezes their hair. 40s and 50s, just start heading towards the light, you know? Let's get cooking. We're gonna start with an old-timey favorite, deviled eggs, or as my friend Manushka refers to them, nasty white people food. Here I got a dozen eggs. We'll plop them in some cold water and bring them to a boil. Total time in the water from cold to hot, 15 minutes. Now, boiling eggs this way prevents that gray ring from forming around the yolk. According to my research, that ring is caused from overcooking the egg. Also, according to my research, I need a life. Here's Panos with more on eggs.
Thanks, Nads. Everybody likes eggs. 9 grams of protein a pop, easy to cook. What's not to like? The shell color, apparently. Most of you think brown eggs are healthier, right? No, the shell color means absolutely nothing. Chickens with white earlobes lay white eggs. Chickens with red earlobes lay brown eggs. So, now that you know that it's purely aesthetic, the only question that remains is, chickens are f***ing earlobes. Bo, back to you, Nads.
Thanks, Panos. Our eggs are cooled. We're just gonna peel these suckers. Now cut the eggs lengthwise. And pop the yolks into a bowl. To the bowl, add 1/3 cup of mayonnaise, tablespoon of chopped chives, 1/4 teaspoon of truffle salt. Can't find truffle salt, a couple of drops of truffle oil will do. Freshly cracked pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, 5 drops of hot sauce, 5. This will make it medium hot. Mix it up. You can really smell that truffle salt. Perfect. When we get back, we're gonna finish these deviled eggs and scoff like it's bingo night in Fort Lauderdale. Welcome back to Geezer Grub. You know you're getting older when your family finally feels comfortable telling dirty jokes in front of you. Now, I'll never forget the first time my Aunt Mimi went off on the nastiest joke ever. It was like a Napolitana version of the Aristocrats. I still can't look at Arancina the same way. But after the initial shock wore off, I said to myself, hey, maybe I am getting older. And a part of me actually felt proud to finally be 5. Let's give these yolks a taste. So good. Now what you can do is add a pinch more truffle salt if you like it. In fact, add truffle salt even if you don't like it. Too bad. I'm tired of this options thing. One might have to say these obvious things, like, if you're sensitive to heat, please omit the jalapeno. That's like watching a parachuting documentary, and they cut away, and they're like, if you're afraid of heights, you may not enjoy this sport. Now, place our yolk mixture into a piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag, you can always grab a plastic sack, cut off one of the corners. Nice and budget. Now we'll stuff this back into the whites. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Some were more attractive than others, huh? Now sprinkle them with a little bit of paprika, pepper, and fresh chives. Man, look at this gorgeousness. Reminds me of really boring parties where you're forced to talk to your grandparents. This deviled egg is fantastic. You really taste that truffle, the fresh chives. It's very simple, but no wonder old people want to eat so many before they die. Next, we're making a mean meatloaf with awesome sauce. Now, some people hear meatloaf and think lawnmower. These people are very confused. For the rest of us, meatloaf elicits mild disinterest, maybe even a bit of anxiety, but all that's about to change because this meatloaf puts the low back in loaf. Here I got 2 pounds of ground chuck. Throw in 1 egg, 1 grated onion, finely grated russet potato, half a cup of tomato sauce, half a cup of breadcrumbs, 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt, a little bit of freshly cracked pepper. Mix it up. Now what you want to do is grease a baking dish with a little bit of unsalted butter. And then we're going to form this mixture into a bread-like loaf. Now a lot of people, when they make meatloaf, they use a loaf pan. But I prefer to do it this way so it gets brown on all sides. Let's make our awesome sauce. In a bowl, mix half a cup of tomato sauce. You can make your own or use store-bought. 2 tablespoons of mustard, 2 tablespoons of white vinegar, and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. While I mix this up, here's the spice agent with more on brown sugar.
Thank you, Nadia. Brown sugar is made with molasses, so it gives a richer, more robust flavor. Actually, you can make the equivalent of brown sugar by mixing white sugar with molasses. And that's in your very own home. You know, Nadia, 100 years ago, the white sugar company didn't have the control over the brown sugar company. And the white sugar company people were jealous. You know why? Because they knew it was better. You know what they did? They make lies, horrible lies. They said that the brown sugar was susceptible to an infestation by minute insect. Can you believe this? Poor little brown sugar sitting there all alone and crystally. If I ever catch the white sugar who did this, I swear. What? If I don't defend brown sugar, who will? Anyways, the molasses we usually use comes from sugar cane. The flavor is generally preferred over beet sugar molasses. And Nadia, you shouldn't fear getting old. It's a beautiful process. And besides, if you come see my mechanic here in Ranana, he has a special called the triple whammy. Yeah, if you get your brakes done, change your oil and shave your goat, free Botox for 1 year. I know what you're thinking. Why would I get my oil changed there when I could do it myself? Hey, sometimes you just want to get bumpier.
Thanks,
יחזקאל מזרחי.
When we get back, we're gonna finish up this juicy meatloaf and it's gonna be top 3 this time, so stay bitchin'. And we're back with Geezer Grub. Now, one sure sign you're getting old and crotchety is you become convinced that music was so much better back in the day, that the rock and roll was harder, that the dance music had real energy, man. No, the difference is you were harder and had energy. Don't blame the music. Well, except alternative music there. After Nirvana, all garbage. Let's face it. Slap this meatloaf in a 450-degree oven for 15 minutes until it's nice and brown. Once the loaf is browned, we're gonna pour 2/3 of this sauce all over it. Bake Now turn the heat down to 350 and bake this loaf for an hour and 15 minutes. Basting it every 10 minutes or so with the remaining sauce. While that cooks, let's talk a little bit about acting old. I have some friends that are pretty young, but if you'd hear them talk me, you'd think their Depends was in a bunch. You're not that old. Stop acting like it. Top 3 list time. You gotta stop groaning when you get up. Every time you move is as irritating as every time you drink, you nerd. You gotta stop wearing all black. Look, I get it. When you're feeling old, depressed, and dumpy, at least an all-black outfit says, "Hey world, I'm old, depressed, and dumpy." You gotta stop telling I'm old jokes, man. Number 1, no one wants to hear it. Number 2, no one wants to shtup it. If you're married, say what you want. You're not getting any anyways. But if you're single, a bit of game, please. Of the non-curling variety. Let's get this meatloaf out the oven. Oh, this smells amazing. I so wish you could smell this. Well, so wish. Of all the things I could so wish for, you sniffing this meatloaf isn't that high on my priority list, let's be honest. Let's plate this dish. Bit of this sauce. Bon appetit. This is delicious. Oh, so good. The tender beef, you can really taste that onion, and this sweet and tangy sauce caramelized with the brown sugar. This sauce is awesome because it's awesome sauce! For dessert, we're kicking it old school with pound cake, but not just any pound cake. We're making mini olive oil and ricotta pound cakes loaded with melted orange chocolate bits. Onwards. Dry ingredients. In a bowl, sift 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. There were only 2 desserts at my grandmother's house, pound cake and S cookies. The pound cake I loved. As for the S cookies, well, let's just say Italians are pessimistic for a reason, and that reason is the S cookie. Imagine being a small child yearning for a sweet treat, a warm chocolate chip cookie, maybe even a fudgio, but all you get is this. Okay, looks may not be the S cookie's forte, but at least when it comes to texture, the S cookie is so dry, not even steaming coffee can penetrate its concrete shell. Luckily, the S cookie tastes like the dusty remains of ancestors so desperate that they considered this a dessert. Looks, texture, taste, all fails for the S cookie. So one's gotta ask, Ma, what's the point of this cookie? It's an Italian life lesson. Your first taste of cynicism. The S, my friends, stands for screwed. Wet ingredients. In a bowl, throw in 1.25 cups of raw cane sugar, 1/4 cup of unsalted butter, 1.5 cups of unsalted ricotta, the zest of 1 orange, and add the seeds of 1 vanilla bean. Little bit, and 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil. Beat it with a mixer on low for about 3 minutes until it's nice and airy. When we get back, Hans is gonna report on extra virgin olive oil, and I'ma eat some cakes! I think we should do that again. That was really crazy. I don't know what happened there. And we're back with Geezer Grub. Now let me tell you something. People, when they get older, they get a bit weird. Like my mother. Last year, I invited her to a super fancy food festival. She was so excited. She got all dressed up, spack jacket, nice pants, and her shoes. They matched perfectly with her plastic grocery sack handbag. Now, I'm not talking a reusable bag with a print on it. I'm talking a straight-up sack. Intermarché written on it, all wrinkled and... I begged her, "Ma, please, people know me here. Give me that sack." She clutched it tighter. Then my aunt tried. "Ah, wait, Louise, give us the sack." Nothing. Then the director tried. "Mrs. Josiah, please, let us hold that sack for you." Yeah, okay. Moral of the story? I don't know, man. I give up. Let's just finish these cakes. Now add the dry ingredients to our olive oil and ricotta mixture. And mix for about 1 minute. Now we're gonna add 3 eggs, one at a time, and blend after each one. And fold in 3 ounces of orange dark chocolate. While I do this, here's Hans with more on extra virgin olive oil.
Miss G, we all know that olive oil is one of the healthiest fats out there. Virgin olive oils even contain polyphenols, an antioxidant that some people believe prevents aging. But the fact is, although antioxidants are good for your general health, studies show no clear evidence that ingesting them prevents aging in any way. See? They got it all wrong, Miss G. It's not ingesting the oil that keeps you young, it's basting yourself with it. Day in and day out until you achieve a succulent turkey-like sheen. This kind of glow transcends age altogether. It's timeless.
Thanks, Hans. Here I've got some mini pound cake molds that I've greased
Yeah.
up with a bit of unsalted butter. Just add, fill them up. Fill them up 3/4 of the way with our batter. Okay, bake these for 40 to 50 minutes at 350 degrees, till the toothpick comes out clean. Cake, cake, cake. Ah! Let these cool in the molds for 10 minutes. Now that they've cooled, scaff them on a wire rack to cool for 10 more minutes. Excuse me while I attack these with my face. Oh, the fluffy ricotta. You get the subtle flavor of the olive oil. And these chocolate orange bits. Not only are they delicious, but you can also wear the sack they came in to a food festival, ma. Today on Bitchin' Kitchen, we injected 3 old-timey dishes with some tasty filler and yapped about aging. It's funny, when you're young, you stress about finding your place in this big bad world. Then once you find your place, you're inevitably older and stress about not being young anymore. Enough with the stressing. That's what's aging you. As they say, you're only as old as you feel. Well, actually, that's not true. You're only as old as you look. Alla prossima!